Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film Madam Web. Fun fact, Madam Web first appeared in the comic book The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 210 in 1980. This film came out in 2024 and stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabela Merced, and Celeste O'Connor, and was directed by S.J. Clarkson. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Madam Web follows Cassandra Webb, who, after a near death experience, finds out that she has precognition powers. Through these powers, she realizes she needs to save three girls from a mysterious man who is out to kill them, and unbeknownst to her, also killed her mom. Cassie must understand her powers and figure out a way to stop this evil man, who we come to find out's actual name is Ezekiel Sims, who is dead set on killing these girls because in the future he saw that they killed him. Madam Web is a superhero movie that has some action. It has similar vibes to Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Morbius, or The Amazing Spider Man. Madam Web is the latest addition to Sony's answer to the MCU, also known as Sony's Spider Man universe. I'm actually shocked that Sony is still trying to do this since none of the movies have been received well, but I guess they're making enough money to keep on trucking on. Madam Web comes in and tries to bring some life into this universe, but for me, it was just another miss. Madam Web takes place in 2003, and Dakota Johnson stars as the titular character, also known as Cassandra Webb. For some reason, when watching this, it just felt like Dakota was trying to be scared and shocked because of the events, but her demeanor was one that was just so calm and didn't really instill that sense of danger. When we learn she has these powers that let her manipulate time, I was like, okay, cool. She'll be shocked the first, I don't know, two times it happens, and then we'll move on. But that bit went on more than it needed to, and I was like, we get that she has these powers, so she should also by now. And she works in the medical field and is probably smart. And her announcing that she has this deja vu every time her powers manifest should be something she realizes that she doesn't really need to talk about out loud before they admit her. It was as if they had no faith that we as the viewer were paying attention and wanted to constantly remind us like we couldn't figure it out ourselves. Also, when she is getting her eyes checked because she thinks she is seeing things, I was wondering, why would an eye doctor be the person that you want to unload all of your potential mental health baggage onto? Like, no offense to the eye doctors out there, but if you think you're going crazy and seeing things, maybe a psychologist or psychiatrist would be a little bit more helpful. There was a line from the trailer where she says he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died. That was cut out in the actual movie, and I was kind of surprised it wasn't in the film. I know stuff in trailers don't always make it into the final film, but I thought that just maybe it would because of how much it was talked about on the internet when that trailer was released. But then again, I think it was mostly talked about in a negative way because people were like, why is she talking like that? When she tries to save these girls, who we come to learn would later become three different Spider Women, she becomes a target for the NYPD for kidnapping because one of the girls screams that she is being kidnapped on the train. I didn't understand the reasoning behind this being a recurring theme because the cops were there and didn't talk to the girls about it. It was like they had a spidey sense in regard to this kidnapping, and then they all get their butts whooped by Ezekiel. And I was like, well, does anyone put their brains to work and wonder if she's actually saving them, considering there is a trail of injured people leading straight to these girls? Then, in the midst of everything going on, Cassandra wants to go to Peru to learn about her mom and about the spider. And she just kind of flies there, even though she is a wanted person because of this whole kidnapping storyline that they have created. And I'm like, this film is set In 2003, which is a post 9/11 world, let's just say, she would not be getting out of the country that easily. The three Spider Women are hinted in the trailer, but when you watch the actual movie, you actually only see them in their costumes for like 3 minutes. I was wondering what was even the point of having them there? Like, why couldn't it just be one Spider Woman? And obviously, they hinted at it to spark interest when they showed us the trailer, but with them being normal people throughout the entire movie, you just have some random people running around from some man, and they never really even figure out why he was chasing them specifically in the first place. Ezekiel Sims had a decent enough motive, I guess, for wanting to kill these three girls, but I was shocked that he couldn't, considering that everyone else is so weak compared to him. I was confused when we meet him on why no one could see him, and I thought that that would be a recurring theme throughout the film, but it wasn't, and they never really just explored why no one else could see this man. Throughout the film, we see him walking barefoot everywhere, and I was wondering, was there not a budget for shoes or what? Because while people may do it, it is not the norm to be walking around New York City barefoot, and I was just so confused on why that choice was made. I get that this is a Spider Man character, but having Ben Parker and Mary Parker was kind of useless to me. It seems like the goal mainly was to establish the Spider Woman, but there is a side story of a pregnant Mary who, you guessed it, is having a boy. There is nothing hinting that Peter Parker would even remotely need to be a part of this storyline, so I was wondering why they even included that plot point. At the end of this whole movie, when Mary actually has the baby, they do this super dramatic reveal where they don't say his name, like it's some secret, even though we know that the baby's name is Peter Parker. And I was just like, well, that didn't really go anywhere as expected. Usually, I would add what my favorite part of the movie was, but to be honest, I didn't really have one. While I have lots of issues with the movie, it is still a watchable movie, even though it was bad and some of the scenes made me laugh. And I honestly couldn't tell you if it's because the jokes were good or because they were just so bad that I thought they were funny. Madam Web had potential to be a better film, but there were just so many points throughout the film where the ball was dropped. I don't think that this is the worst movie ever made or even the worst comic book movie, but I do think that if Sony wants to continue with this universe and really kind of leave their mark, then they should sit down and reevaluate, because the way that they're headed right now is the wrong direction. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.